Hey guys, I hope you had a great new year. I spent the last bit of last year in Europe, so it's great to be back. I wanted to discuss with you the first 2 weeks in January 2023, what the real estate market is doing since I've been back. So the climate has pretty much equalized out between buyers and sellers. So before I went on vacation, I was getting a seller subsidy, so I was getting seller concessions in the offers. Now pretty much everything is going at asking, not below, especially if it's renovated and then in a highly selective area with really great schools. So we're kind of seeing a stabilizing out of what happened last spring. So last spring, everything was above asking, no contingencies, no seller concessions. Towards the end of 2022, we were getting under asking with seller concessions. Now I think it's just equalizing out. We're going at asking with no seller concessions. Also, big point to mention is that there aren't as many buyers in the market because interest rates are so high. So that's pretty much deterring buyers from buying. So I have actually gotten a couple of my clients who wanted to become homeowners start to rent and then save for a down payment for when possibly the interest rates. I'm seeing more investors in the market because they're not afraid to do an ARM, adjustable rate mortgage, instead of a fixed rate mortgage. I think we're between low 6s to mid 7s in interest rates. But don't quote me, I am not a loan officer. So with that, investors are taking an ARM mortgage so that their mortgage will be a couple of interest rates lower than what the fixed 30-year is, in hopes that they'll lock in that interest rate from 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years and then refinance with after that set amount of time and get a lower interest rate. Now with that is more than likely the interest rates will come down within that time, but you don't know for sure. So I think that first time home buyers are getting a little bit more scared because they also are hearing about a recession in which if they were to buy a house, then it would go down and wouldn't be worth what they paid for it, or anywhere near that would allow them to keep that house and not foreclose on that house. When the recession was happening, you were seeing houses go for $100,000 to like $125,000 under asking. We are not in that position at all. Our trades are happening at a listing price, and I think that's because interest rates came up. Overall, I do see an increase in the rental market, so that will bring investors back in because they would like to buy something and then get cash flow out of it in the form of rent. And so we are seeing that a little bit more than last fall and last winter. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen next week. My call volume has been increasing in terms of leads, so people that are possibly interested. So I'm seeing that more people are interested in purchasing homes, but that is usually on trend for spring. So I think buyers are coming back into the market, but not at a rate when the interest rate was 1/3 of what it was. And then also I'm seeing that sellers are preparing to sell in the spring, which is going to be great for the inventory on the housing market or in the real estate market. So that will open up more opportunities for buyers to come into the market as well, and maybe we'll be able to get under list price in the spring, but I'm not exactly sure yet. But as of right now, pretty much everything is going at asking price, not under. But we aren't having to waive anything, so we're not having to waive the home inspection, we're not having to waive the appraisal or the financing. Those are good signs that hopefully it will turn back to a buyer's market in the spring because of interest rates and not into a seller's market, which me as a mostly buyer's agent, I kind of want it to be a buyer's market so I can get concessions and just put my clients in the best position possible to accumulate generational wealth in the future. So that's pretty much all I have for this week's episode. Stay tuned for next week's episode. I'll tell you all about what happened in that week and get you some really great real estate market updates. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.